Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, where we sit down and talk with interesting professional guitar players, uncover their stories, and discover what makes them tick. If you love guitar, music, and the backstory of people's lives, stick around. You're in the right place. This episode of Everyone Loves Guitar is brought to you by Taylor Guitars and their new Grand Pacific Round Shoulder Dreadnought. Powered by Taylor's breakthrough V-Class bracing system, the Grand Pacific gives you a warm, seasoned sound with clear low-end power and notes that are stronger, longer sustaining, and more in tune with each other all the way up the fretboard. Make sure you check it out online at taylorguitars.com, then go out and play one today. That's the new Grand Pacific at taylorguitars.com. Did you know if your instrument or any of your gear is damaged, broken, or stolen outside your home, your homeowner's insurance policy will not cover any of it? That's right. Homeowner's insurance only pays if something happens inside your home. But Music Pro Insurance insures all your music gear, no matter where it is, anywhere in the world, even when you check it in as baggage on an airline. Here, let me give you some examples. Let's say you're in a car accident and your equipment is damaged, you're covered. Your kid pours apple juice into your amplifier, covered. Someone spills beer all over your pedal board at a gig somewhere across the world, boom, you're covered. Any kind of theft or accidental damage is covered, even water damage from hurricanes and breakage from earthquakes. But here's what makes Music Pro really different. They're not going to argue with you over the value of your instrument or make you run around looking for receipts when it comes time to paying your claim. They know exactly why your vintage instrument is worth 10 times more than a new one. Plus, all claims are typically paid and fully settled in 24 to 48 hours. So if your equipment is not insured properly, go to musicproinsurance.com, hit standard, then enter your information and get a free gear protection estimate. Don't be that player who ignores this, and then next month when something happens, you're wondering why you didn't take 10 minutes to do this properly. Make sure you go to musicproinsurance.com, enter your information, and get a free gear protection estimate. If something happens, you will be thanking me. Trust me on this. musicproinsurance.com. The Be Fulfilled Journal helps you be more honest with yourself and with others and be more open to handling things you've avoided dealing with for years. It's a 12-week online and journal program that helps you identify and eliminate things you do that are causing you stress and live in more gratitude and joy. It was actually developed by a long-term friend of mine who got sober in 2008, and he's put together a great deal just for my listeners. You get the 300-page hardcover journal and access to the 12-week video program online, plus free shipping, plus membership in a private Facebook support group with others going through the program, plus a 5-day mini course showing you how to let go of stuff that's draining your energy, plus a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. To start your journey and get all the bonuses, go to BeFulfilledJournal.com/ELG. That's BeFulfilledJournal.com/ELG. For more information on advertising on Everyone Loves Guitar, go to everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. Hey, everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. I got the coolest guest today, man. It's always so awesome for me when I have guitar players I listen to many, many times on the show. And we've got Jamie West-Oram today. Jamie's a guitar player for the Fixx. And if you don't know the Fixx, then let me just throw some songs out there because you do know them. One Thing Leads to Another, Saved by Zero, Red Sky, Stand or Fall, Deeper and Deeper, just to get started. Great, great band, and he's a tremendous guitar player. And before we get moving, I want to thank our mutual friend, James Santiago, for hooking us up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks, James.
Yeah, man. So Jamie was born in 1954 in Barnsley in Yorkshire. He grew up in Cheshire. He's the youngest of four. He had music playing everywhere in the house. And I'm not going to read the whole bio as usual because he was kind enough to kind of break things up by date. So I'm going to ask him questions along the way. But hearing Chuck Berry's song Memphis, which is a great song, was a turning point for him. That was around when he was 8 or 9. So what was a turning point in what way? What happened like after you heard that record?
All I can really say is that it took me somewhere. There's a kind of sunny, carefree vibe that comes from that record, and a hint of sadness as well, I suppose. And it just touched me even as a young kid. And I thought, Memphis, Tennessee. What do you mean Tennessee? You're thinking of tennis and things like that. But I did follow the storyline. I kind of understood that there was something of a phone. There's a telephone involved, and he was trying to get in touch with someone, and it must have been his daughter or something, because she was only 6 years old. And so that it was just the atmosphere, and because my dad traveled a lot, it made me think, I wonder if that Memphis, Tennessee, I wonder where that is. I wonder if my dad's been there, that kind of thing. But it felt like it was from somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Is there like for as a young kid growing up in the UK, was there like a fascination with the States?
There was. Generally, it wasn't just me. My friends were really fascinated by it, and a lot of it was through the music.
Yeah.
And my dad, when he would come home, we'd always have these slideshows, which we all loved. That he took good pictures, and one of the pictures was the St. Louis Arch.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't quite meet in the middle. It was the stage where they hadn't quite finished it. So it must have been sometime in the 60s, I suppose. And so that was quite eye-catching. God, and it makes you think, what if they got it slightly wrong and we got all that work and oh no, they don't quite meet. What are we going to do now? But anyway.
Yeah, in this country, they throw some shit up there and make it stick, you know.
Yeah.
So it's funny because there's the same thing going the other way around. There's a fascination, especially musically, about England for kids growing up in the States at that time, to the point where I remember, did they ever have things like called pen pals?
Yeah, pen pals. Yeah.
I had this British. So go ahead.
No, I think my older siblings had pen pals. I don't think I had one, but
I had a pen pal in the UK, and I was so excited that he was in England because it was like, you know, wow, because of that fascination we had with the UK. So I was just curious if it was mutual on both sides.
Oh, it's definitely mutual. There's an excitement about American music, American cars, American all sorts of the whole history of America. Yeah, and I'm glad it works both ways.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. 1965. This was cute. I read this. Your brother told you about a singer who stammers, and he turned you on to the Who's My Generation, of course. And again, after hearing that, no turning back. What happened with that record? What was the guttural feeling you had after that?
It just sounded so wild and powerful and exciting, and the stammering. You know, when my brother Stephen mentioned it, I thought, well, that's pretty weird. And yeah, it got me my curiosity up. But I suppose I didn't really expect to be blown away the way I was.
Yeah.
It's an explosive record, and I suppose it provided a fantastic release from various things. Not from the family atmosphere was great. There was a sense of humor there, and the release was there in that way. But school and church, those kind of oppressive forces, it felt like something had to give, and that really helped me.
Did you ever have a chance to meet Roger Daltrey?
No, I never did. I'd like to.
Yeah. That'd be curious.
Did you?
No, I'd like to also. If you meet him first, you send him to me. If I meet him first, I'll send him to you.
Okay, that sounds like
that's a deal. So around that same time, your mom died. And again, if you're comfortable discussing this, I was curious how that impacted you personally and maybe over the long term musically even.
Yeah, that happened a little before the My Generation record. So I suppose that record was good timing in a way for me. Obviously, I was just coming up to my 11th birthday, when our mum died, and it wasn't a great thing to happen. It was really bad, but it was. I was lucky that I had these 3 older siblings, and my father and an aunt and friends. So I had a lot of, and I was the little this guy that was in his own world already. I was always a bit of a dreamer in my own world, but I had lots of support. Except I couldn't talk about it for years, and I the effect it had on me, I clammed up. So I went very quiet, and I certainly couldn't talk about her or death or anything. I couldn't mention the word death or die or anything like that. So I suppose it, understandably, it had its impact. But when I read about other artists who've lost parents at an early age, and they've had a far worse time than I did. At least she died of natural causes.
Sure.
So anyway, I think what can I say? I think it did. So music obviously came to the rescue for me, and it was a great way of unleashing the kind of anger as well as the sadness.
God, I gotta believe it was.
Yeah. So it's in a way. Every time I'm on the stage with the Fixx and I do a solo, there's me howling, which I couldn't do at the time.
Hey, well, thank God for that, right?
Yeah, I'm very lucky, that I've had that outlet.
You mentioned a couple of times your dad traveled the world, and he often brought records back from North and South America, the West Indies, India, and he showed you 3 chords on a banjo-lele, and then you kept working at it and soon discovered more on your own. Tried playing your dad's huge black acoustic, but your fingers are too small. What kind of work did your dad do that he was traveling all over? It sounds kind of cool.
Oh, he worked for ICI, a big chemical company, and he was a scientist.
Wow.
He was an authority on glass making, so he's one of the people that knew the most about glass making. And I think he visited plants out in various factories in various countries and help them, advise them on how to use whatever chemicals were being sold by ICI and helped in the glass making process. So that kind of thing,
pretty
so very much
interesting.
a scientist.
Yeah.
It's weird that, yeah.
No, go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry.
I suppose one thing, going back to when our mum died, she was very religious. And my dad wasn't, and I never knew that until much later. So, I was kind of this. I don't know if I should be talking about this, but basically, eventually, I suppose I was indoctrinated in that way, not just by her really, but just by school and other things. So when I eventually shook off those shackles, and I mean, with due respect to anyone that's a believer and it helps them, but I kind of realized it was bullshit. And so that was very liberating to me. So I'm a born again atheist.
That's the first time I've heard that expression. That was fucking terrific. I'm a born again atheist. Holy shit. That's
so
great.
There you go. I wish I'd talked to my dad about this, because he would have just told me that. No, don't worry about that. You're not going to go to hell.
You had all this. I
thought I was going to go to hell because I was angry with God for
I totally
taking
get
her
that,
away.
man.
And then, of course, it was rubbish. So great, happy days now.
I get it. I think it's funny because whenever I've been over there a few times with my wife, and whenever I talk to people there, I think religion there it doesn't seem to be as prevalent as it is here, or maybe people are more private about it. I don't know. It
could be that they're more private. I think there are the various surveys conducted, and I think there's about 40% of us either agnostic or atheist, and that's much more than in the United States. for one reason or another. I think it's, I don't really know. I get on great with people who are
sure
very devout. I was in an Irish band for a while, and a couple of them were, and I think it was mainly because I was completely no one could change my point of view, and I knew I couldn't change their point of view. So we went, okay, well, great. Well, we'll just have a laugh and smoke some joints and play some music. And
right.
It's all fine.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I think here we probably have a lot more religions. Like there's like literally thousands of religions here.
Oh, that's true, because there's a more diverse culture.
Yeah, and like I think you guys pretty much have like Church of England and then Protestantism.
Well, yeah, they're the same.
The same thing.
The
okay.
And then you've got
shows
Catholicism,
what I know. Oh, Catholicism,
which is they're more in the minority, and Judaism and Muslims, and so Islam and Buddhism. So we actually have it all over here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I always, because I remember that was just a big thing there when I met with Ann's friends and stuff like that. They were shocked how religious people in the States were. Huh.
Oh yeah, I think what is maybe a little bit sad. The thing about the church used to be the thing, a meeting point for the people in the community. So I think I can see how that is a good thing. It's just that. It depends, but anyway.
No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
You've coined a new expression for me. That's great though. So Dad bought a reel-to-reel when you were 12 and you learned how to multi-track with it, sticking the mic inside your older brother's acoustic guitar and bouncing tracks. And then you learned how to use the reel-to-reel as an amplifier, joined a band at 13 and bought Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze. In 1973 through 76, you went to Leeds College of Music, and then after that you moved to London. All the complex music you'd been playing, all the extended chords, jazz fusion indulgences, the Sex Pistols, the Clash, and the Damned blew all of that away with 3 chords. You heard the Ramones on the radio and found out that punk came from America, but the UK needed punk's raw energy to kill off the self-satisfied music and political establishment. And then in 77, you saw the Ramones at the Roundhouse, supported by the Talking Heads. Wow. What a concert, man.
Yeah.
So the Heads opened up for the Ramones.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Well, it's actually the first band on was the Saints from Australia, and then Talking Heads, and then the Ramones.
Wow. Audience was something else, and this was another turning point for you. So what was it? What was it here?
Well, I suppose it just it made me realize it. I'd already heard punk on the radio and seen smaller punk acts at the clubs and that sort of thing. But this is a big thing, and there was a kind of wild frenzy in the audience, and a kind of anger and elation and humor all mixed together. This fantastic elation and this weird thing that the British punks had a gobbing at the bands, spitting at the bands, and I think the Ramones they weren't happy about that, which I can understand.
Yeah, that would kind of piss people off.
And poor old David Byrne I remember he got a pint glass that hit him right in the middle of the forehead.
Holy shit!
And he already had that kind of startled expression from the start, that's his persona, and then this thing hit him, and he's taken aback for a second. Then he just carried on. It was great.
Wow!
So I liked them a lot, and I liked the Ramones.
Both from New York City.
It was a wild night.
Both those bands from New York.
That's right. Yeah. There you go.
We got some crazy shit going on there. Trust me.
I know.
Once you finished school, what'd you do for work?
I had to get a job. It wasn't like I left Leeds and went straight into session work. I had to get a job. So I worked in a shoe warehouse. That was my first job, which doesn't sound and it was in Hackney.
Where is that?
In the East End, the East End of London.
That's rough there, or was rough there?
Yeah, it was, yeah. but it was a real laugh, actually. And it just shows any job is all right if the other people are fun. If they got a good sense of humor, which they had, they were hilarious. So it was that was okay. And then I moved to a different area, and I got a job as a roofer's assistant.
Holy shit!
So my job was to drive the van and to haul sacks of tiles up and down ladders all day.
That's a tough job, man. That's like very physically demanding.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that. It kind of grounded me. Well, it didn't ground, you know what I mean? No pun intended. And it was fairly, and there's an element of danger because they were high ladders, but I quite liked that, actually.
And
scrambling around on rooftops. So that was okay. And it was quite good money as well.
And then what happened? When did you you eventually joined Philip Rambo's band in 79. Was there anything before that musically? Or?
Oh yeah. I got bits and pieces. There was a friend of mine, John Williams, not that John Williams, and not that other John Williams either, but another guy. So he was very helpful. He had a publishing deal, so he would hire me basically, and also spread my name around. So he got me other work here, there, and everywhere. So I would have, one little, like £30 one week and £60 the next week, and nothing for 2 weeks. So it kind of went on like that.
Session work.
Yeah, that's right. So I learned a hell of a lot, and that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to. And I'd also do stuff for nothing, of course, which the Musicians' Union wouldn't have approved of, but just for if they couldn't afford anything, and I liked them enough, I'd do it just for the experience.
Sure.
And I did there was a singer called Roy Hill, another good singer-songwriter who could have made it but didn't. So I worked with him for a while in his band doing live work and played on a couple of tracks. And then Philip Rambo. So that was really good. He was really good, a very high energy singer-songwriter in an electric rock and roll setting, kind of like Van Morrison on speed kind of thing. And he had these rhythms. He was from Canada. He is. I've seen him, on and off over the last couple of years. We're still friends. And he had a couple of crazy guys playing drums and bass. Dave Cochran, who's now a gynecologist, I think.
Wow.
And Blair Cunningham on drums, who went on to great things. Blair went on to play with Paul McCartney and the Pretenders and everyone, really. And they were crazy guys. They were hellraisers. And none of us could understand what they were saying because they had these thick Memphis accents.
So you finally got to Memphis, man.
Oh, no, indirectly. Yeah. Yeah, we were in the UK opening up for Dr. Feelgood, well as doing headlining acts in the London clubs.
So it was a good gig.
Great, yeah, great gig. And the guitar player that I took over from was, wait for it, Mick Ronson.
I know, man. I saw that. Was he was he like at that time? When you took over from, did you have a sense of like, man, this guy's like really hot?
Oh
shit?
Yeah. I knew who he was, and I heard some tracks that he'd recorded with Philip, and I knew he was great. And I thought, and I still love Ronson's playing.
Oh God, yeah.
Like everyone does, of course.
There's a really good, I don't know if you saw it, there's a great Ronson documentary on Netflix.
Oh, really?
It's great. Yeah, man. It was really good. I watched it on a flight somewhere. It was really good. And it was very sad. I didn't realize it passed like that. It was just a very good. And then, it was kind of sad, Bowie just kind of let him go as artists do with their players. There was nothing it wasn't mean, or it's just the time had come,
Right. As well, I suppose Bowie was always reinventing what he did anyway. So it's inevitable that the musicians would change as well.
Yeah. but it was a great documentary. If you get a chance, I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
May 1980, you were looking at doing some co-writing, or you wanted to start co-writing, so you found an ad in the music journal Sounds. There was a gigging band doing originals and looking for guitarists, so you went to meet them.
Yeah.
And you liked their sense of humor and their attitude, and this became the Fixx. And I like this. I thought to myself, this could be fun. I'll stick at it for a month or so.
Yeah.
And here you go, 39 years later, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? I didn't really know if I wanted to be in a band, that commitment thing. I wanted to just jump from one thing to another. But anyway, here we are. We're about to
Let me show you this, man. Let me show
Florida
you this.
in a couple of weeks.
Can you see this?
Oh, yeah, I know.
How funny is that? So I'm showing Jamie so basically back in the Stone Age, when you bought vinyl, they would sell singles often, like a long single, maybe a remix. And this one,
a 12-inch.
Yeah, it was a 12-inch, right? And so this
Yeah.
one was really cool because it's actually from the UK. So when we'd get stuff over there from the UK, it was like, extra cool. It wasn't like something came out here. Here it goes. Yeah. It's a 12-inch, and on one side is Reach the Beach, but the dub version. So it's like a lot of mixed stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And on the other side, this is 1983, dude. This is 35 years ago. That's crazy, isn't it?
I know. It's scary how long ago it was.
And on the other side is an 8-minute version of One Thing Leads to Another. This is so funny, man. Here you go. Isn't it wild?
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
cool,
I can. Isn't it? Very cool. So, I knew I had this buried somewhere. Yeah. And it says here, of course, made in Great Britain. So, this is really, like I said, because it was for the time, because it was like from the UK, it was expensive. It was $4.49, which was
right. Yeah. It doesn't sound it, but it would have been a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the normal 12 inches were maybe like $2.50 or something like that, or maybe $2.99 at most. So, it was funny. When I have the chance to pull out some vinyl, when I have a guest on the show, I always enjoy that because it's like a walk through nostalgia,
Yeah, no, that's great. That thing about that you liked to import records from here, I mean, it's definitely the same thing the other way around. And all those, there's stories of the Rolling Stones when they first got together, and Keith Richards seeing Mick Jagger walking along with Muddy Waters albums under his arm. Or is it the other way around? I can't remember. But
no, I think it was right. I think you hit it right. Yeah, I think you hit it right. Yeah. I think it was Keith seeing Mick with the records.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. It's always weird. You have this fascination with other places where music. It's like, when you're like in business, you're the out-of-town expert. For some reason, there's an air of X about, the out-of-town expert. Yeah, there's a cachet that go, like your dad flying around, he's the out-of-town expert,
Yeah. And, he's come all the way from Great Britain. So to come all that way, it must be important.
Right. Let's, pay attention to this guy, what he's got to say. So thank you for making all that good music, because I've enjoyed the shit out of that and loads of other things you've played.
Oh, no.
Pleasure. What were your biggest highs? Highs with the Fixx?
Okay, it's very difficult to. There's so many of them, but the gigs that we've played from the Marquee, the old Marquee in London. Let's think, and playing to 80,000 people at the Oakland Coliseum in '83.
That's nuts, man.
And the other gigs like the Ritz in New York. Fantastic place.
It's gone, you know that.
I know. Yeah.
It's gone.
So's the old Marquee as well.
Oh, is it?
I don't know about the new Marquee as well. Let's come think of it. The Fillmore West. So those gigs and recording at the Farmyard in the early days with Rupert Hine and Steve Taylor. Because that was such an eye opener. Just hearing.
In what way?
We were very lucky that was perfect for us, working with Rupert and Steve. The other, I don't know, just touring the UK, and saying, wow, I've never been to Glasgow before. Fuck, this is amazing. And then on Liverpool, and then give it a few more months, and we're playing New York and going down the New Jersey Turnpike that I'd heard about in songs.
Yeah.
The dream.
What's that Simon and Garfunkel song?
Yeah.
Driving the car down the New Jersey Turnpike.
Yeah.
Oh, come to look for America.
I just have to make a move and have a look at these potatoes.
Jamie's preparing dinner for us.
Oh, I'll give you a glimpse. I don't know if you can see them all.
There you go. Man, there's nothing like English people making potatoes. My wife cooks potatoes like nobody's business, man.
So does mine. I'm the deputy today. I'm not normally. Phoebe's the one. She's an amazing cook. Oh yeah, you're saying your wife's from England. Of course,
yeah. What were some of the lower points, Jamie, or the obstacles that you've had to deal with over your career, and how did you get through them? Could be music related, business related, personal, whatever you want to discuss.
I suppose that business wise, I could have had my eye on the ball a bit better, but the problem is it doesn't really interest me enough. It should do. I'm trying these days, a bit late now, but I'm trying to sort of watch what I'm doing. But anyway, leaving that one aside, I remember I learned from this would be 1984. I got basically hammered after a gig in Anchorage and left my bag outside my hotel room, and I didn't see it again for about 2 weeks or 10 days later, and it had my passport in it. So I left it outside the hotel room, and in the morning I went, oh no, we had to get up early for a flight. My bag wasn't there, but it's because the tour manager from the other band had kindly picked it up to look after it, but of course they were leaving after us. So anyway, I learned a lot from that experience. That the dummy check thing, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Whatever state of mind you're in, and hopefully, not. Yeah, there you go. So that was it. Turned up in Atlanta eventually, and
wow, you're lucky you got that thing.
Yeah, I was. And I think the rule on a bus tour is that the bus will break down at least at one. There's that time we were in California, and if the main engine stops, but the generators keep going, it's normal. They're stopping for this, but when everything stops and you can hear the traffic roaring past, you go, okay, something's up here. And eventually, I'm a light sleeper, so I was the only one that got up at first, and the bearing had gone, and we had to wake up the tour manager. And eventually, we ended up cramming ourselves and all our gear into a tiny chartered plane to make the show, which was a weird one. It was a racetrack somewhere near San Jose. And we were with men at work, and they were headlining, but they very kindly said, they phoned ahead, okay, we'll go on first, and then you can go on after us. And
wow, that was really nice.
Nice of them.
Yeah.
So we made it literally kind of running on stage. I didn't even tune my guitar. We just started playing. It was all out of tune, but we were so kind of happy that we made the stage. I think that energy came across, and we went down really well. And then from then on, when the bus is broken down, we just go, okay, we've done this before. We're okay. There'll be a way around it. We'll get there. So I think you learn to be a bit more calm about things going wrong. But I can't say that was a low point. It was, no one wants to miss a show. So
no,
it's quite nail biting.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
What are some of the more important lessons that you've learned from the experience of your musical career? It doesn't have to be lessons about music, just in general, it could be anything.
No, I think I have to feel very grateful to, and just reminding myself how lucky I am that I can do what I love for a living and not having to work long hours down a coal mine or something like that. for not much money. The lessons, but I suppose that's a lesson.
Yeah,
it?
Definitely.
Just feeling lucky, appreciating one's luck.
Yeah, man. So you guys work with producer Rupert Hine and engineer Steven Taylor, as you mentioned, for the first 4 albums. And this, just so people know, this team has worked with Bob Geldof, Rush, Tina Turner, the great Tommy Bolin, Bill Bruford. I mean, just Peter Gabriel, loads of people. And then you also, through your relationship with these guys, started playing on Rupert's solo records, and eventually you got recording with Brian Eno, Tina Turner, Stevie Nicks, Bob Geldof, and loads of other people. I was curious if you learned anything, and if you had any cool stories from working with Eno and Geldof. Those 2 guys are pretty sharp musically.
Yeah, no, they are, and they're great characters too, which kind of goes hand in hand with the music. They're but very different from each other. Like, for example, with Eno, I remember, as an example, well, Brian will make it very obvious when you're trying to get the groove, and when you hit the groove, he immediately responds to it, and he's really enthusiastic when he likes something. And he's not, never negative. So it's like if you're not doing the right thing, he just gives you time to steer you, kind of thing. And as you know, he's always going to look for something original and interesting, rather than he's never going to want something standard. And I remember once I was playing on a Depeche Mode track, which he was remixing, and he got me to add some guitars. And I had this Boss delay pedal, and I was playing a part, and he'd be down on the floor twiddling with the knobs on this live. When I was playing, he'd be moving getting these kind of great sounds just by changing the delay time, and also the recycling time, and kind of. While I was playing my guitar, he was playing the pedal.
That's really wild.
He loves it. He always makes the point that it's called playing music with good reason, because we're playing.
Man, that's a great thing to remember.
Yeah, and despite the line in the Steely Dan song, learn to work the saxophone, we don't normally say you work the saxophone. You normally say you play the saxophone. So it is playing. So again, very lucky. So he's great in that way. He's a very funny guy and very nice person, genuinely, and very generous. And Bob is also a very nice guy and very generous. But if he doesn't like something, there's no filter. He'll just, how some people are very tactful and trying to be diplomatic. And how can I put this? Do you think you could maybe try it a little bit more like this and less? And Bob will just go, "What the fuck are you playing at, man? That was crap. You're not thinking." I can't do the accent properly, but
that's great, man.
And it's refreshing having very direct and honest, instant feedback in that way.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But when he does like it, he'll say, "Yeah, that was great," But when he doesn't like it, he'll
let you know just the same.
Yeah.
You toured Europe with Tina Turner as a sideman, and had the privilege of working not just with her and with her band, but also with Bowie, who guested when you played Birmingham. Man, what was that like, touring with her? That must have been pretty wild.
Fantastic. No, it's amazing. Yeah.
High energy.
And very it's Tina Turner, so the expectation from the audience, you can imagine, she's a legend, and she was already a legend back then. That was a big year for her, 1985, and I didn't get any rehearsals, so I just had to. There I am, 4 nights at Wembley Arena, going, what's the next chord, kind of thing, and And not only you expected to get it right and get it really good and with lots of fire and as well as precision, but you have to be at a certain place on the stage at a certain time. So there was all of that. That was a big wake-up call for me. That kind of made me go, yeah, fuck, I've got to sharpen up.
Did you get at least sound check?
Yeah, we would get a sound check.
Okay.
We'd get sound checks.
So that was effectively your rehearsals for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you
but
get
they
to?
Were all, yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say they were all really nice. You know, she was nice. The band was, all the crew. So appreciated that experience very much.
Did you get to interact with Bowie at all?
Yeah, he was. You know how he comes across as some being from outer space. It turned out he was really friendly, very down to earth, really nice. You know, just a nice person, and very funny.
I interviewed a guy named Ben Monder, who's a player in New York City, and he played guitar on Bowie's last album. He was the only guitar player there other than David.
Oh, yeah.
He said this, Black Star, and he said the same exact thing. He said he was
really?
Incredibly nice, like no pressure, let you do what you want. Funny, you know.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he was not feeling well at the time, he said, but he was still, you know, gracious and, you know, had a sense of humor about him, which, you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Totally cool. Yeah.
Also, man, 34 years of marriage. Congratulations on that.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
That's huge.
Yeah. It's quite rare in this business, especially, but Bibi's been incredibly loyal to me. You know, I've abandoned her when totally inopportune moments when I have to go and do a tour.
Sure.
Well, you know, don't have to, but you kind of do. The show must go on. And yet, sometimes, you know, fuck, this is not. But she's always welcomed me back and off the tour and been total inspiration for me. And again, somebody with no filter. Mm-hmm. Very funny. She's a nutcase. She's beautiful, but she's also a complete nutter.
You know what?
Very honest, you know.
Yeah. I really like, just so I'm sure she's going to listen to this, I really liked how you described her in your bio. It was very loving. You could just tell it was very, you know, you thought very highly of her and whatever little thing you got together, man. So I thought that was cool. I feel that way about my wife. I haven't been with her. Been with her 26 years, but, you know, I thought that was really cool. So congratulations. I like
thanks.
Mine's a nutter as well.
That's the best sort, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think menopause may have like exponentially amplify the nuttiness, but it's all good.
But these days, Bibi comes with me. She, as an experiment really nice. Last summer, which she never, I think only once ever before. Really? She actually, you know, it was a long tour, and we discussed on the phone or Skype, you know, what about this? Come over, you know, I don't know, and she did.
That's great.
It worked out great. She just did the whole thing, slept in a bunk on the tour bus, and it worked out really great. And it was great for me, for all well, not just for the company, but just I was no longer worrying about her. You know what I mean?
Man. So yeah, I totally get it. That's great. Yeah. Very cool, man. I'm really happy to hear that. Congratulations.
So now I know that we can do that. I can't wait. I just want to tour all the time, you know.
You have a renewed enthusiasm for touring. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. And it said through your wife, you met Eno, and then you played on his tracks, and you played for artists he produced, like Laurie Anderson and Jane Seabury.
Yeah.
What if you don't have to discuss it? What did your wife do that she connected you with Eno?
Oh, they already knew each other before I met Bibi.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, they were already friends, and so I met him through Bibi, and we'd socialize together. You know, on a fairly regular basis. And I kept going, when's he going to ask me to play on his record?
Yeah. What the hell?
And then one day I just thought, fuck it. I picked up the phone and said, look, Brian, I'd love to play on I knew he was recording. I'd love to play on a record. I'll do it for nothing. I don't care. I just want to do it. And he went, that's very kind of you, but I've just finished. So, but then I got a phone call about a week later, and he invited me to put some rhythm guitar on something, and he liked it, and he paid me and everything, which, you know, I thought I didn't have to. I just want to do it. But he did, and then he kept asking me back to do other things. So that was great.
That's pretty. I don't know you at all, but that seems out of character. You seem like a more reserved guy, so that probably took a lot of balls to pick up the phone and say, even though you're buddies, it still probably was a little out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, I am too reserved, actually, generally, although I'm more confident now than I used to be.
I think some of that's a British thing, though. I hate to keep saying that, but isn't it? Because I think
it is.
Yeah, for sure. Because when I go over there, they're like, "Oh, fucking Mr. Loudmouth here," and I'm not really like a loudmouth, but compared to the standard bass line there, I guess I am. You know?
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Bob Geldof, but he's Irish, so that's a different thing. They tend to be more upfront, like Americans are generally.
Well,
I like that. You know, I like.
Being direct is I like that. That's more of a New York thing than like the whole country of America is not like that. And even me, I'm like, I would never say like, what the fuck are you playing? Well, maybe I would. I don't know. I'm on. If I was real, but I wouldn't say it in a mean way. I'd be like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah,
no, he didn't. I wouldn't say he said it in a mean way. He said it in a very assertive way. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I like that people are up front. Like, don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining. You know, I like just, you know, say it. It's good. I don't take anything personally. Anyway, you've also worked at the Academy of Contemporary Music in Guildford for 9 years, lecturing in music theory and composition. And now it says, I like this. You finally know how to use theory like a book of magic spells.
Yeah, that's how I like to put it across to students as well, that it's a book of magic spells rather than a book of rules.
Yeah, I like that. That's a lot more, you have an affinity when you hear that. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. Are most of the teachers there also people that played professionally?
Yeah, they are. They're all professional musicians. So you might think, well, how can you have a job, a regular job, and then be a professional musician? But they do, because they kind of boast, that's their thing. You know, they boast that they're all professional musicians. So that if I ask for a couple of weeks, I'm going to have to, or longer, or months, they have to sort of allow us to go off and tour. You know, Ace from Skunk Anansie, you know the band Skunk Anansie?
I don't.
Or maybe you don't. No. All right, they're very big over here. So he works there. And all kinds of different musicians, different styles and things.
Berkeley does the same thing with their teachers.
Yeah.
They give you time off, because I've interviewed a bunch of people that teach at Berkeley. They do. And I think it's the same reason. If you want to have these, you're giving them credibility, there's got to be a trade-off,
Yeah.
They understand that.
That's it. Yeah.
That's really cool, man. As a student, man, I would almost not listen to somebody that just taught, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like going to the gym and the trainer's like 300 pounds. I never understand that either.
No, that wouldn't work, would it?
Yeah. There's not for me, but there's plenty of them there. But, I'd like to have somebody that, you've been in the field and so you're telling me not to play this chord. There's a reason why, because you've done it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would much rather have that.
Yeah.
If you could go back, Jamie, and give advice to younger Jamie, what advice would you have given yourself, career-wise, personal, anything?
Yeah, that's tricky, really, because things haven't turned out too bad. So
that's great. No, that's fucking great.
I suppose, but at the same time, these questions pop up in my mind. What if I'd done that, or what if I'd not done that? Or if I knew that I would have been able to make a career out of playing the guitar, if I'd known when I was 14 or 15, I would have thought, why am I working towards my exams? Why am I even bothering going to school when I know I can make a living playing the guitar?
Sure.
And I suppose occasionally you do get musicians who are so, but then again, I wasn't very good when I was 14. So, whereas you get some geniuses, well, I suppose Stevie Wonder, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know if he finished his schooling or not. Anyway, so what if this and what if that? And I think I probably would have, if I knew I was likely to get there, I probably would have worked harder at it.
Interesting.
And made more sacrifices. Like, no, I don't, which I sort of did. I'd do things like, I'm not going to eat today because I've got to buy a new set of guitar strings. We've all done that. But maybe even more committed and gone, I'm not going out, tonight because I'm going to practice.
Yeah.
Going to just practice more. But then,
Yeah, you don't know, like, would you have made that left turn or picked up that newspaper that saw the ad in the paper, exactly. Or would you have picked up the newspaper that saw the ad for another band that fucking fizzled out? You just don't know how that stuff works. Yeah. There's an interesting movie. It's kind of a chick flick, but it's a good movie that talks about this. It's called Sliding Doors.
Oh yeah, I think I might have seen it.
It's who's in there actually? Paul Stacey. Do you know Paul Stacey?
Oh, is he the guy? Is he a musician?
Yeah, he's a session player. Yeah, he's done everything. And his brother's Jeremy, but Paul's in that movie. I interviewed Paul a while back. That was fun.
I think we know someone that was either had a small part in that. It could be maybe.
Wasn't Paul?
My stepson's wife's sister might have been involved in something movie? Like that. Yeah. Maybe in some way, yeah.
But it's a good movie because it has these two alternate realities, and one of them, the only difference is one of them she misses the train.
Oh yeah,
a little girl walks in front of her and she doesn't get around her on the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole reality is different. And I always, I think about stuff like that often. Like, if I made a right turn instead of going left when I went home.
Know.
It's really weird how that shit, for me anyway, I just like how things happen. I always find it really weird,
Yeah.
And you can't,
really weird.
I mean, like, for example, when I bought this UK 12-inch, if someone would have said, hey, well, you and Jamie will be discussing this in 35 years.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, just I mean, it's weird stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about gear for a little bit.
You're
usually playing Strats. Is that your primary?
Yeah. More often than not, it's either Strats or Strat style guitars. Yeah.
What's your go-to number one and like top three?
The one that my go-to guitar is a Suhr, S-U-H-R.
Yeah. It
was custom made for me, actually. I'm very humbled by that. But John Suhr used to be the guitar tech at Rudy's in New York.
Yeah.
And I bought, and they would buy Schecter parts back then. So they made replacement Fender parts kind of, but they were kind of bordering on, they were better than the Fender parts, allegedly, depending on your opinion back then. And so John was putting together all these wonderful guitars out of mainly Schecter parts, and I bought one and I drove it into the ground. It was made of Koa. I've still got it. And actually, I'll show it to you quickly.
Yeah, man, that'd be really cool.
So this is the This is the original. This room's a bit of a mess. Sorry. I don't know if you can see that one.
Oh yeah! Holy shit! That is beat to hell. So it's wow.
So they built a replica of that one, which is in another building. So I won't show you right now, but it looks like that.
So let me just describe it. It was like it was a wood finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, natural wood.
Yeah. And gold hardware, really just beat. I mean, not relic, beyond relic.
Beyond relic, yeah. It's kind of almost scrap heap kind of thing. No, I didn't mean that in a bad way, but
you pick that up still once in a while, right?
Not very often.
Oh, really?
Because I've got this new version, which works like a dream. You know, you can do anything on it. So that's my main guitar. 3 single coils, like typical Strat, or No, not they're EMG pickups. So they're active. They're single coil, but they're active pickups.
Very cool.
So I'm just going to check the spuds again.
Yeah, man, do your thing.
That's all right.
You got to invite me over now to freaking eat. Okay, so what's number 2? Your Sewer Strat is number 1.
Yeah. I've got a couple of other guitars that have a story behind them. One Bibi, my wife, and I were in a guitar shop in Chichester, which is fairly near where we live, called Guitar Sound. Anyway, they had the 61 Epiphone Olympic in there.
What's that?
Quite a rare one, because it's a bit like a Les Paul, not a Gibson Melody Maker kind of thing. But this one's quite rare because it's a single cut with 2 pickups.
Oh,
and I tried it in the shop, 1961 original. I tried it in the shop. A BB was there, and I loved it. I love this guitar. It's got something. I really want this, but no, I've got too many guitars already. So we just left the shop and went home. Next day, when I came back from the college, I went in to my little studio, and there it was on the case. And I opened up the case. There it was. So BB had gone out and she bought it.
Dude, that is very cool.
So that's, wives are supposed to stop their husbands buying guitars, but my wife buys them for me and encourages me to buy them. So that's
really nice.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I love that guitar.
Oh yeah, that's a special one, man.
Special, it's got a story behind it. And I haven't used it live with the Fixx. I think I've used it. Yeah, I've recorded with it now and again with the Fixx and at home.
That's not a guitar you take on the road, man. 61.
No. And another one, a good one, is it's a Fender 62 reissue, Fender Strat 62 reissue. It's green. It's like a surf green.
I love that guitar. I've seen that in videos of you.
Oh, have you?
It's so cool. I love that. It's not a normal green. It's really cool looking.
Unusual color. Yeah. It's the original finish. But anyway, I was with B. We're together all the time if we can be. But we were in Brighton, and we went into GAC, which is a well-known music shop in Brighton, and I thought, and I was looking for a Fender Strat, so I was trying all these second-hand Fender Strats, and Gary Moore walked into the shop, and BB knows Gary. He's sadly no longer with us, but and they were old friends, and so he was hanging around and taking an interest in me trying out this one and then putting it down, trying out this one. I think there were half a dozen second-hand Strats, and I kept going back to this green one and going, that's how they're supposed to sound, kind of thing. You know, it sounds really twangy and Fendery. And he kind of, this body language coming from him, he pointed at it, that's the one, kind of thing. And then BB goes to the salesman, so what's the best you could do on it? And I was going, hang on. And then before I know it, I own it, basically. So
that's a great guitar, man. I've seen you play that one. It looks great. It sounds great. It's real cool.
Yeah. So it's You're not supposed to, that's not the idea. It's supposed to be authentic and original, but I have got different pickups on it now. There's a guy called Dave Walsh, who he's a really good, amazing guitar maker and guitar tech who lives fairly nearby. And he put some of his own pickups that have just got a bit more that kind of bite, that kind of, they're more ballsy sounding, but still single coil. And he also, as a surprise, he got a new pick guard put on it, with the Reach the Beach design on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he knew we were doing a Reach the Beach tour last year.
That's very cool, man.
So I got other guitars, but I suppose those are the top three.
Did you wind up hanging out with Gary for the day?
Yeah, for a few hours. Yeah, actually.
Do you know Anto Drennan by any chance?
Who?
Anto Drennan. He's a player, really good player in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Plays with Mike and the Mechanics. He toured with Genesis. He had a great Gary story. I'll send you his interview. It was just quite hilarious.
Oh right, yeah.
It was very funny. So you guys? I looked at you guys. Pretty much shared co-writing credits on almost all the songs.
Yeah, we do that.
That's very cool.
What's divide up,
That's very cool. That's a band.
Yeah, what?
That's very old school, man. Nobody.
Well, not all bands do that, but
yeah, that's not.
I think. Yeah, there you go. We do that.
What's your favorite song that you wrote?
Well, they say, oh, they're my children. I can't, but of course you can pick out one or two. The story behind Saved by Zero, I was working with Adam, the drummer, in a little, we had this deal, publishing deal with EMI, and they had a writer's room. So we went in there and they had a Porter studio. Everyone used them back then. And we put together something. It started out with this 6/8 drum pattern that Adam came up with. I can't remember exactly, but that kind of feel. And I just randomly tuned the A string up to a B on whatever guitar I was playing at the time, and played B minor, A, G as bar chords. But of course, they came out as B minor 6, A6, G6. And I didn't really know until I played what it was going to sound like. And that's interesting. It's got a sort of melancholy about it. It's got a sort of slightly sad feel. And we both liked that. And then I added some more guitar parts, and we came up with the bare bones of what became Saved by Zero. Once the band got together, we actually abandoned the 6/8 feel. It was straight 4/4, and then Cy came up with this line "Saved by Zero," and we were all intrigued by that. I think I'd kind of do as a guitar line, and he said "Saved by Zero," and then fill in all the gaps and. Bob's your uncle. There we are. We got a new song.
Bob's your uncle. No one says that here. I love that, man.
No.
The riff in there is like very cool. It's just a cool. It just moves, man.
Yeah, it's thanks. Yeah, it's quite. You know what it is when you hear it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it just moves. In fact, I was playing it the other day. I was like, when I was, getting in the mindset of doing a research for our interview here, and I just picked up my guitar and I was playing some stuff. It's just a cool riff. Is there a favorite song to play?
Well, I suppose in a self-indulgent way, I like Deeper and Deeper because I can let it all out with that one.
Yeah,
actually the story behind how that was written is, well, I think it's interesting. I don't know if anyone else, but Cy and myself, we were both living in New York in the same apartment block, different apartments, and I suddenly we were writing together for Phantoms. And suddenly I got this panic phone call from Cy saying, "You've got to come over." I'm going, "Why?" "Don't, just come over." And it turned out he'd made this arrangement with Jimmy Iovine to go over and meet him and listen to a song that we were supposed to have written for a film called, the film was Streets of Fire. And we'd forgotten. How can you forget that? But we'd forgotten to write the song. So we had half an hour before Jimmy was due over. And we wrote Deeper and Deeper in half an hour. It started out with a drum beat that I had on a Dramatics drum machine, like that. And then Cy came up with on a synth. And then I came up with a guitar part to go with that. And we thought, we need another bit. We'll just go to the relative major. And go to the obvious.
That's so freaking cool.
Deeper, deeper. What? I thought, yeah, great title. And then the doorbell rang, and it was Jimmy, and he walked in, and we'd finished it just then. We were all right.
Holy crap!
And he loved it. He loved the song, and so we got this big recording advance to record it properly, and there we go. And
that's awesome.
A radio hit.
Oh, God,
Fools. Yeah. We should have put it on the Phantoms album, but we were too precious at the time, thinking, no, this is for another project. It wasn't written for the album. But nowadays, we'd probably go, it's a good song. We'll stick it on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, There you go.
Great story, man. Where were you living in the city?
In Midtown. It was East 48th Street, I think.
It's busy.
No, East, which is East and West. Yeah, East 48th Street.
Yeah, that's a real busy area.
Near 3rd Avenue. So not the kind of hip back then sort of Soho area or anything, or anyway, that's where we were.
Very cool. Desert Island Discs. What would be your top?
Good one. Give Me Shelter.
Oh, what a great! I mean, just the Mick Taylor, man.
Yeah,
nothing much needs to be said other than "Give Me Shelter."
Yeah.
Man.
So is Mick Taylor? Who's doing what on that? Because now I've got them now. So you've got the down. I don't know.
To me, I think anything that sounds bluesy and makes me want, that's Mick Taylor. Oh, so nothing against Keith, but I mean, it's just different.
I know what you mean. No, Mick Taylor's an amazing guitar player as well.
Oh, it's just,
they both are
incredible.
Another one, anything by Neil Young. Well, not anything, but I'm a massive
Trans.
Trans, yeah.
Yeah. No, you said anything. I said you probably wouldn't put Trans in there.
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't really know that.
Yeah, that's like his disco or like electronica kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
Because he's kind of like Bowie, man. And I give him credit for that. He just sort of went out
he'll
there.
Try something.
He did like he did the electronic stuff. He did rockabilly. Country. He's done a lot of stuff.
Because I think the record labels said to him, "We want something more rock and roll," and he went, "Okay, I'll give you rock and roll." So he gave that version of rock and roll.
Yeah,
I think just for a laugh, really.
Great artist, man. Yeah,
fantastic. I don't know which particular one I would choose. I think anything off Harvest, really.
It's a beautiful record.
Brings back memories, that one.
That's the, I have somewhere in my house. I love that album cover. I think that's the one where there's just a field. It's like a road. Is that the one with the road paved down the field?
Yeah, I think it is.
I have that. I just always thought that was just a beautiful, like, sometimes if I'd be down, I just look over that and very calming.
Yeah, yeah. No, I find that listening to that album does that for me.
Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah.
Any other ones?
Maybe got a Bowie one, maybe. I don't know. Moon Age Daydream, just because it's a great song, of course, and off a great album. And the solo, Mick Ronson's solo, is the best solo in the world.
Yeah, it is a great.
And it's mostly just one note. It's just repeating that one wailing note.
So I'm going to ask you some tough questions now, Jamie.
Yeah.
Best decision you ever made?
Marrying Bibi.
I knew you were going to say that one. That was too easy. I shouldn't have asked you that one.
Helping to make our son, Jack. He's a great guy. I inherited one as well, Marlon.
Yeah, he had mentioned. Yeah. Most important things you've learned about yourself through your career experience and life in general?
Life's too short to be a dickhead.
Why, were you ever a dickhead? I would find that hard.
Well, I probably have been, yeah. But it shouldn't be.
Yeah, man, life is too short. It's funny, I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and like for me, when I started being nicer, easier going with myself, I got a lot more easier going with other people. It was very...
Oh, yeah, there's something in that.
I was like almost instant.
Yeah. When you get wound up about something, I've got to... And then you think, hang on a minute. I'm not going to get there any quicker by getting wound up. Sometimes you have to relax a bit.
Yeah, take a breath, pause, meditate, whatever, go for a walk.
Yeah, yeah. Usually something will show up.
Are you a rule breaker or a rule follower?
I'm in everyday life. I'm a bit of both. I'm pretty much a rule follower, actually. I've got to watch my speeding, driving. So, man,
that is dangerous on those roads you got there, man.
Yeah,
those things are so. I mean, for me, I go over there, I'm scared shitless. You know, just tiny little roads, man.
There's country roads that. Yeah, they're awful. Musically, I like to think I'm a rule breaker, but I do like cliches. I like to go, okay, what's the most obvious thing? And then let's subvert that. So you take something obvious and then you just change something a little bit. It could be a timing thing or changing a minor to a major or something like that.
That's clever, man. Well, that's what you did. You came up with the obvious for that. You just said it for the deeper and deeper thing. You went back to the relative major.
Yeah.
That was cool, man. What do you like most about yourself?
My cool crimson boots.
Are you going to wear those on stage?
Yeah, I might do. I'll show them to you.
Oh, my God. Those are pretty cool, man.
Yeah, but I wear them. These are my everyday shoes. So maybe I should have something different for stage.
Yeah, man. Rule breaker. Go wild. Life's too short. Anything you'd like to change about yourself?
I would like to be quicker at making decisions. But I think it's just the way I am. But I'm always trying to become quicker at that.
It's funny, and I've spent the last 10 years trying to become slower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think there's something for that. It takes a lot of pressure off you think, and there's no fucking rush. What's the rush?
Yeah, well, maybe you become quicker by being slower. Maybe that's what I need to do. No.
That sounds like something on a karate movie. That's like way over. You become quicker by becoming slower. It's just smoke some weed and figure that one out. Who's had the biggest influence on you, both musically and personally?
Well, Bibi, my dad. I was very lucky with, and my siblings too.
Do they live near you? Do you get to see them? Your siblings?
Not very often, no. We're all pretty spread apart. But no, Bibi's really helped me a lot, really kind of influenced me a lot.
That's great, man. You have any hobbies outside of music?
Very middle-aged things like we're both really good at cryptic crosswords.
What is that? What is a cryptic crosswords? What is that?
I'm trying to find an example. And this is unfortunately a right-wing paper, but clues are... Okay, you might like this one. Zeppelin songs really cool.
Like the Rain song?
Should I just tell you the answer?
Yeah.
Airship. As the operative word is Zeppelin. A Zeppelin is an airship. Songs, airs, really cool.
Oh, see, I was thinking Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's that comes to mind as soon as I see that. But
okay, so you think so that's a cryptic crosswords. Anything else?
One down. Terrible trauma grips English.
No, I mean any other hobbies. Oh my God!
Reading. I'm reading a fantastic book that Jack gave me called Homo Deus. It's a brief history of tomorrow. So it's kind of I've already read the book before that one, which is called Sapiens, which gives a history of humans from way, way back. And also it's all to do with where might we be going. And this new one touches on, I could go on, and books by Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens.
That name I know.
Philip Ball.
So you're a pretty avid reader.
Yeah, I love reading, yeah.
Favorite?
Yeah.
What's that?
No, I finished, don't worry. Your turn.
Favorite place you've traveled?
Switzerland.
What do you like about that?
Well, it's very surprising, I find. Switzerland has for anyone that's not been there or maybe just passed through it, it's got a sort of certain connotations. But when you really get to know it and get to know a lot of the people that live there, there's we know some amazing artists over there who are really hilariously funny, for one thing, and very, really kind of free thinkers, I suppose you'd say.
Interesting.
And also it's beautiful, of course, the mountains. I love mountains. I love mountaineering. I've been with Sai in the Himalayas. We've done a musical trek there. That's so cool. I love mountains anyway. And I like the people. And you can buy a bag of weed in the post office nowadays.
In Switzerland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
So it's got this image for a lot of people. It's very conservative, but it's not like that anymore. I mean, parts of it, some of it is, and other parts are kind of very advanced.
Is weed legal in the UK?
Not officially, no.
But do they hassle you for it?
No, we don't. I mean, in the 70s, I remember getting stopped in the street nearly every day, and they were just looking for weed so they could bust you for
good Lord
possession. And remarkably, I never got caught.
It's weird. Because
I used to indulge quite a lot back then. So I know in parts of America it's legal. Shops in Denver and
Colorado, California, Washington State, a lot of states. It's legal.
Very civilized. I think
you just walk in there.
Yeah.
Hey man, 3 more questions, and I really appreciate your time. Okay. Toughest decision you've had to make, or most difficult thing you've had to do?
The toughest decision was whether to become a parent or not, whether to become a dad, because it's something you can. Obviously, it happens by accident, and that's
sure.
That's one thing that happens very often. But for me, it was something I had to either. I didn't want to. I think it's a really big step. It's funny. Yeah. I look around. I'm not being too judgmental, hopefully, but a lot of people just either they take it for granted. Yeah, I'm going to be a dad or a mum. Of course, that's without a second thought. Or it just happens by accident, and they just work their way around it. And it's a big thing.
It's huge.
And in the early days, I never wanted to make that step until I met Bibi, of course. And even then, I thought it long and hard. But anyway, it's worked out great.
Good for you, man. That's great.
Yeah, thanks.
Second question, biggest change in your personality over the last 10 years, Jamie, and how much of this change was intentional and how much is a natural part of aging?
I think I am more confident.
Has that been, have you like worked on that deliberately?
Yeah, I have.
Cool.
But I think also it's an age thing. After a while, you don't give a fuck.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. And the last question is, how are you eating those potatoes tonight? I've heard nothing about everything but these fucking potatoes. How are you going to eat these things? 'Cause the curiosity is killing me here, man.
What? It's not going to be just potatoes. We've got pheasant.
Wow, I've never eaten pheasant. So do you have ketchup on your potatoes?
Pardon?
Do you have ketchup on your potatoes?
No.
Oh, because when my wife. We both have ketchup. It's probably very like uncivilized, but we both put ketchup on our potatoes, and apparently nobody does that. And I thought it might have been an English thing.
Well, I love ketchup. I love it with chips.
Okay.
Or what you would call French fries.
Yeah,
well, you know that, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a bad idea. Roast potatoes with ketchup.
Oh, it's delicious. Put some salt and pepper on there, man.
Yeah, already got that.
Nothing like it, man.
Yeah. So there you go. But pheasant.
Hey, listen, first of all, thank you very much for everything, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Craig.
Do you want to talk about the new album? You guys have a new record coming out this year?
I don't really want to get too much into it. Everyone's going to say it's brilliant, but we think it is brilliant.
That's great.
It sounds great. We love the songs, and there's no point going into the details. Just have to wait till it comes out, and unfortunately I can't give you a date.
No worries, but we'll be looking forward to it. And if you want to come back here to promote it when you come out, you're more than welcome, man. I'd be happy to talk about it.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. How weird is that you're coming down to Clearwater and like,
I know, what an amazing coincidence.
It's like very nutty.
Oh, so you should come along and heckle.
I'm not that guy. I would never do that. I love your music, but even if I'm not that guy, man, it's too much. I don't do anything negative. I refuse to put energy into anything negative. I at all ever. Even if someone gives it out to me, I just delete, walk away. I'm not, people like argue online. I never answer.
I don't do anything like Facebook or anything like that anyway.
I feel like it's wasting energy that I could use for otherwise good stuff like cooking potatoes or whatever. Hey, man, thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Cheers, Craig.
Cheers, Jamie. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this interview, please share it with a friend on your social media channels. We appreciate your support. Thanks again to Jamie West-Oram for spending time with us. The Fixx is on the move. Check them out on the road. Great band, really great melodic songs. And Jamie's a hell of a guitar player. And make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com, sign up to get on our newsletter list so you and I can connect. And most important, remember that happiness is a choice, so choose wisely. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I'm out. We hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, subscribe to the Everyone Loves Guitar podcast, and you can do this online at everyonelovesguitar.com or on iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star positive review. The more 5-star reviews we get, the higher our show ranks, and higher rankings mean we get to continue speaking with cool, interesting guests on our show. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, keep playing your guitar and have fun making music.